event of a conflict. Can you be straight with people now whose money you're going to spend? What is the level of threat? How close are we to conflict? And what should they expect?
So I started this speech at the press conference by setting out the immediate threat that we have from Russian spy ships. I set out the scale of cyber attacks that have been in this last year against the defence systems alone. I pointed to the way that Russia isn't just raising the stakes in Ukraine, there's rising aggression against NATO as well. And we've seen across a range of different parts of the world, greater conflict, less predictability, greater danger. That's why we went to the election promising the British people that we would raise defence spending to 2.5% of GDP, a level we've not seen in this country since Labour was last in government in 2010. We're putting £5 billion into the defence budget in this year alone. We'll hit that 2.6% of NATO GDP by 2027. We've got an ambition to make that 3% in the next Parliament, and we, like the other 31 nations of NATO, have signed up to a 5% target for core defence and national security. This reflects the new era of threat. It reflects the requirement for a new era for defence, and it recognises Britain's role, stepping up to lead in Europe, stepping up with other European nations on Ukraine and on NATO, because our strength is our work with allies, which is why we made the promise at the election. You've seen it delivered since, that Britain, under Labour, has reset our relations with Europe. Ben Wright, BBC.
Thank you, Mr. Healy. The German government has said that they believe Russia could attack NATO within 5 years. Do you agree with that assessment? And if you look at the spending in Germany or Poland, they're ramping it up much faster than we are. The budget's coming up. Do you need more money quickly from the Treasury to put Britain on a war footing? And can this effort be done, be candid with people, without taxes going up?
We can't turn around the problems of the last 14 years overnight. We produced the Strategic Defence Review precisely to give us that vision for the future, to set out the challenges of transforming our armed forces, to make them more ready to fight still, more capable to deter, alongside NATO allies. We set out that NATO first commitment because we recognise that Britain won't fight alone, we won't deter alone, but we have to lead the way, and we have to do so with allies. And it's that long-term commitment, that certain decade of rising defence investment, that has meant that we've now also seen the rising levels of private investment. And so I, in the last year, have spent as much time with investors as I have with industry. I've spent as much time with innovating small firms that hold the key for future capabilities that keep us ahead of our adversaries that I have with the traditional defence businesses. And it's that combination of fresh investment, transformation, and a vision that sees the strength of our British industry as essential to equipping our armed forces and essential to providing a greater deterrence against anybody that would attack us in the future. Ellen Milligan, Bloomberg, please.
Thank you. Can you give us more detail on the Russian ship pointing lasers at our pilots? How much of an escalation is that? And on the EU Safe Weapons Fund, was any progress made last night at the dinner between the Prime Minister, Germany and France? And with the deadline coming next week, is no deal better than a bad deal?
So on the Yantar, this is the second time in a year that it's entered UK waters. It is part of a Russian fleet designed to put and hold our undersea infrastructure and those of our allies at risk. It isn't just a naval operation, it's part of a Russian program.